If you look closely at the faces of the generals standing behind Donald Trump this morning, you don't see loyalty, you see fear. You see men who know they are watching a mistake that cannot be fixed with a tweet. Because what happened today was not just a small diplomatic argument. It was not a trade fight over milk or wood. It was not even about the border. Today the President of the United States looked at the country that has fought next to America in every big war for 100 years, and he told them to leave. But he did not stop at the politics. If he had only cancelled a treaty, we could call it normal business. But Trump had to make it personal. He had to make it hurt. In a long, angry speech that is already being removed from conservative news sites, Donald Trump did not just attack Canada's money, he attacked their dead. He insulted 457 soldiers who died, men and women who wore a maple leaf on their shoulder but followed orders from American leaders, soldiers who bled into the sand of Kandahar so American soldiers could go back home. And when the news reached Ottawa, something changed. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, did not yell. He did not get mad. He did not go on TV and call people names. He simply walked to a podium, fixed the microphone, and read one single name from a piece of paper. And in that moment, the special friendship between the United States and Canada ended. In the next 40 minutes, I am going to take you inside the room where it happened. I am going to show you the secret Pentagon papers that prove the US military is very worried right now. I am going to show you exactly how Canada, the quiet and polite Canada, just put its hand on the neck of the American energy system. And I am going to tell you why, for the first time in history, the United States stands alone in North America. Get ready, because the map just changed. Let's go back to 8 a.m. this morning. It started with a question that should have been simple. A reporter from a news service asked Trump about the stuck talks on the Arctic defense money. It is a dull subject. It is usually about ships that break ice and radar places. But Trump was already upset. People say he had just left a meeting where his helpers told him he needed Canada. They told him the northern side was weak. And you know how Trump acts when someone tells him he needs help. He gets angry at them, so he walks out to the helicopter and he loses control. He says Canada is a danger to our safety. They are people who get things for free. I am stopping their top-level access. They are out of the room. That was the first big shock. Top-level access is the highest trust in the Western world. It lets a Canadian general sit in Colorado Springs at NORAD and decide if a nuclear missile is coming. It is one of the eyes in the Five Eyes group. Trump just closed one of those eyes. But then the reporter pushed him. She said, Mr. President, Canada used Article 5 after 9/11. They went to war for us. 158 of them died in Afghanistan. Doesn't that mean something? And this is the moment history will remember. Trump laughed. You can see it in the video. He smiles in a mean way, waves his hand like it does not matter, and says, they did not fight for us. They fought for a little prize for showing up. I looked at the numbers. 457 guys. That's a bad weekend in Chicago. We do not owe them for poor planning. It was a bad deal. He called 457 dead soldiers a bad deal. He called the loss of a whole nation a little prize for showing up. He was not talking about taxes on goods. He was talking about blood. Now picture you are a Canadian mother in Saskatchewan who lost her son in 2008 to a bomb on the road that was meant for a US group. You are watching TV and the leader of the alliance is laughing at your son's death. The feeling in Ottawa was not about politics. It was deep and raw. In just 10 minutes, the hashtag #457 was trending all over the world. But it was not only fake accounts, it was pictures. Thousands of pictures of Canadian soldiers carrying American soldiers. Pictures of coffins covered in flags moving down the highway of heroes. And inside the White House, the phones started ringing, and they have not stopped. While Twitter was going crazy, a different kind of crisis was happening at the Pentagon. You need to know something Trump does not understand. Location on the map is not something you can talk away. The United States has a huge weak spot. It is called the North. If Russia or China ever decides to attack, whether with nuclear weapons, fast missiles, or normal ones, it comes over the North Pole. It comes over the Arctic. And guess whose land they fly over before they reach America? Canada's. For 60 years, the US has depended on a line of radar stations, listening posts, and bases far in the Canadian Arctic. This is the North Warning System. When Trump said, get them out of the room, he did not just hurt feelings, he started a legal breakdown. We have a leaked paper that is going around among the top military leaders this afternoon. The title is simple, Operational Blackout, Northern Sector. The paper warns that if Canada fights back by limiting US use of these northern bases, the United States loses 40% of its early warning ability. 40%. That means if a fast missile is fired, we see it 15 minutes later than normal in a nuclear war. 15 minutes is the difference between stopping the missile and losing New York City. Trump thinks he has all the power because America has nuclear weapons. But Canada holds the tools to see, and you cannot hit what you cannot see. By noon today, reports said Canadian officers at NORAD headquarters in Colorado were packing their things. These are men and women who have worked side by side with Americans for many years. One U.S. Air Force colonel, speaking without giving his name, told a reporter, "It felt like a divorce where the dad kicks the mom out but forgets she has the keys to the car. We are locked out of our own defense system. This is the mess Trump made." He traded our safety for a quick saying. And while he was boasting about being strong, the Russian Air Force was surely watching, writing notes, and getting ready to test how blind we have become. Now let's look at the other side. Mark Carney is not a politician like Trump is. Trump is good at making brands. Carney is a money expert for countries. Trump works with feelings. Carney works with dangers. Carney led the Bank of England. He led the Bank of Canada. He keeps economies steady for his job. He knows exactly where to push. When the news of the insult came out, everyone thought Carney would shout. Everyone thought he would give a strong speech about love for country. Instead, he went to the War Museum in Ottawa. He stood in front of the grave of the unknown soldier. He did not say Trump's name. He did not talk about the trade fight. He simply said to the families of the 457, "Your loss bought freedom for two countries. If our neighbor has forgotten how much that freedom cost, then we must help them remember its worth." And then he hit hard. Carney said Operation Sovereign North. It sounds like a war practice. It is not. It is an attack on money. Paper 2, the energy check. Right now, the Canadian government has started a safety review of all energy sent to the United States. Carney used the same kind of words Trump uses. He said, "We need to make sure our energy is not helping a mean foreign country." Let me explain that for you. Quebec sends the power that runs New York City and Boston. Alberta sends the thick oil that Texas factories need to work. US factories are made for thick oil. They cannot use the thin oil from Texas without mixing it. They need Canada. Carney did not shut it off. That would start a war. He just made it slower. He ordered checks, nature reviews, and pipe safety looks. In 1 hour after Carney spoke, the oil going to the Midwest fell by 15%. The price of power in New England jumped 400%. Carney is showing Trump the difference between noisy strength and true strength. Trump yells on Twitter. Carney quietly reaches into your home and makes the lights dim. He is betting that American people, and especially the rich Americans who give Trump money, will feel hurt in their money long before Canada feels hurt from the insult. Money pain is one thing, but Trump lost something today he cannot buy back. He lost the fighting men. Look at your social media. It is not just people on the left who are mad. It is Marines. It is Special Forces. It is the men with "Don't Tread on Me" signs on their trucks. They are very angry. Why? Because when you are in a battle in the Arandab Valley, no one cares if you are Canadian or American. You just bleed the same red. We found a video from a former US Army shooter that is spreading fast right now. He is sitting in his truck holding a picture of himself with a Canadian group. He says, "Mr. President, in 2010 I was trapped. I had no bullets left. The men who saved me were from the Royal Canadian Regiment. They lost one man that day saving me. You just spit on his grave. You do not speak for me anymore." This is paper 3 that scares the White House. The Pentagon is not just a building. It is a way of life, and that way is built on honor. By making fun of the dead from a friend country, Trump broke the rules of the people he wants to respect him. We hear about people quitting at the State Department. We hear about border agents calling in sick so they do not have to bother Canadian drivers. Trump is now fighting on two sides, one against Mark Carney and one against the heart of his own military. While Washington and Ottawa yell at each other, do you know who is happy? Moscow and Beijing. For 20 years, Russia has tried to break the North American friendship. They used spies, they used computer attacks, they used lies, but they never won. The connection was too strong. Today, Donald Trump did for Vladimir Putin what Putin could never do alone. He broke the protection. Paper 4. The Russian plane flight. Just 2 hours ago, NORAD, now in disorder, saw 4 Russian Bear bombers coming close to the Alaska Defense Zone. Normally, US and Canadian planes would fly together to stop them. It is a planned move. They do it every month. But today there was confusion. Who flies? Can the Canadians share the tracking info? Is the secret link working? The bombers turned away before entering our space, but the point was clear. Russia was checking the lock and found it open. At the same time, China put out a short, polite message. It invited Prime Minister Carney to Beijing next week to talk about calm and special minerals. This is the worst dream. If Canada turns away from the US, they do not just go away. They go to someone else. Canada has uranium. Canada has lithium. Canada has water. If Carney decides the US cannot be trusted, and he makes a new deal with Europe or Asia to take the place of the American market, the US loses its own backyard of resources. Trump thinks he is leaving Canada alone. Really, he is leaving America alone. He is changing the strong North America into a house that fights inside itself. You might be thinking, I do not care about world games. I just want cheap gas. Well, I have bad news. The US economy is like a car engine. Canada is the oil. You do not notice the oil until it is gone and the engine stops. Here is what will happen in the next 72 hours if this is not fixed. 1. The car makers. A car made in Detroit crosses the border 7 times before it is done. Parts go back and forth. If the border slows from extra checks, the factories in Michigan, Ohio, and Tennessee stop. Ford and GM have already warned inside about big supply problems. 2. The food. Canada buys more American farm goods than anyone. If Carney puts taxes back on American milk, corn, or beef, or finds health reasons to stop them, American farmers lose billions fast. 3. Higher prices. We are already dealing with high prices. Now picture if the cost of wood, metal, and power goes up 20%, all because Trump wanted to prove something. This is not just about politics. This is a cost on your daily life. Every time Trump insults a friend country, the danger of being American gets higher. Companies stop putting money in. Deals get dropped. The world looks for other money instead of the dollar. Carney knows this. That is why he stays calm. He knows numbers always beat loud words. He is waiting for the American stock market to make Trump change. So, how does this end? Time is running. Choice A, he takes it back. Not likely. Trump's helpers tell him a market drop hurts his numbers. He posts a tweet saying he loves Canadian people, but their leaders must pay more. He gives back the top access quietly on a Friday night. The hurt stays, but the big problem stops. Chance 20%. Trump hates saying he was wrong. Choice B, it gets worse. Likely. Trump sees the anger and pushes harder. He says Carney is messing in US votes by controlling energy. He calls an emergency at the northern border. He sends soldiers to the crossings. This turns the open border into a war zone. Trade stops. The bad economy starts right away. Chance 50%. This matches how Trump acts. Choice C, the break, the scary new world. Carney decides the US is a failing power. He speeds up the split. Canada builds stronger links with Europe and the Pacific. The US becomes alone, mad, cut off, and surrounded by old friends who no longer believe its promises. The Arctic turns into a fought-over area. The NORAD group officially ends. Chance 30%, and growing every hour. History has many friendships that ended. Rome and its areas, Britain and its lands, but they usually ended over land or money or beliefs. It is very rare for a friendship to end because of pure cruel words. Donald Trump wanted to look strong today. He wanted to show the world he owes nothing to anyone. But by doing that, he showed what he really is. He is a man who looks at a grave and sees a bad trade. He is a man who looks at a friend and sees someone to use. Mark Carney did not need to win with loud words. He did not need to shout. He just stood next to the truth. The truth is that 457 Canadians did not die for a little prize. They died for us. They died for you. And today, for the first time in our history, we did not say thank you. We said get out. If you are watching this and you feel a heavy feeling in your stomach, that sense that something special is broken, you are correct. The map did not change today. The heart of the country did. I want to hear from you, especially if you served. Is the friendship worth saving, or has Trump gone too far this time? Do you stand with the 457 or with the insult? Put it in the comments. I will read them. And subscribe because tomorrow is going to be even tougher.